Thank you for the question regarding this homework assignment. So this homework assignment problem says that if you stand on a ship in column C, your height x, so keep in mind here that x represents your height above the sea level in feet, is related to the farthest distance y that you can see. And so y is the farthest distance that you can see in miles. And this will tell you how to find that distance you can see based on the height above the sea level. So you give me the height above the sea level, I can tell you how far you can see. First thing that I want you to do is I want you to take a look at this equation and what its corresponding graph looks like. So the best thing that you need to do here is take this and put it into Desmos. But before we put it into Desmos, take a look at the x-axis is going from 0 to 100, scaled by 20s. And the y-axis is going from 0 to 15, scaled by 5s. So we'll keep that in mind. I went ahead and I wrote down the equation on my piece of paper, and now I'm going to go to Desmos.com and get the graphing calculator. So I guess from scratch here, there's Desmos. Here's the graphing calculator. I'm going to go ahead and put in that equation. So y equals, and to get the square root going, probably the quickest way to go is SQRT, and then inside that square root, I got 1.5x plus, and then I got a fraction here that's going to be squared, so I got to put that fraction in parentheses. Get that fraction going. On top was x, and on bottom was 5,280. That's how many feet are in a mile. Okay. Close up. Got something going on there. Okay, and now we can close that up and square that fraction. Okay, there it is. And we can go ahead and come over here to the little gear and say that we want the x values from 0 to 100, and we want to scale those by 20, step by 20. And then the y values, we're going to go from 0 to 15. And we're going to scale those just by, I think the scaling was just by 1. Okay, so there we can see what the graph looks like. We can match that up with the different options here. So it looks like in this case, remember what the graph looked like. I believe that the graph was increasing, but it starts low, increases fast, but then it slows down. That looks pretty good. Starts slow, and then it increases faster. Well, I might want to check this one. So let's see if I have the other picture here. Give me just a second. All right, yeah, so we can definitely see what that graph looks like. And so out of those 4 options, you can see that the graph goes all the way up to, looks like about like 13 here. And so out of those 2 pictures, or out of those 4 pictures, it looks like this first one here is the correct graph. Now, the next thing that they want is they want to know how high up do you have to be, that's the x value, to see 5 miles. That's the y value. So what we can do here is we can go and we can create another equation. And since they want the y value equal to 5, remember the y value is how far you can see, and this is in miles, right? So this blue line here represents the distance that you can see, 5 miles. And the red line represents the equation that tells you how high you are above elevation and the corresponding distance you can see. So where these 2 graphs overlap will tell you that you can see 5 miles out if you're 16.6 or 16 2/3 feet above sea level. So that should help, 16.667 or it's really 16.6 repeating. And here we can go back and we can take a look at that. And they say, round your answer to the nearest whole number, and that really is 17 feet. So that's how they got the answers, and Desmos really was the key there. Hope that helped.